Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are on F1 23 as always, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing the latest patch, which is the 10th version on this game, 1.10, and one of the big things about this patch is that they have actually updated the Singapore circuit, which is actually the next track we have on the F1 calendar, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I thought why not just give it a go, see how it feels, because it is quite a big change. And we're just going to jump on time trial here. This is my very first lap I've ever done in Singapore on F1 23. I didn't even use the previous version. I actually have a league race here tomorrow live at 7 PM UK time, so make sure you tune into that. But yeah, the big difference is Sector 3 has just completely changed, and as always, please let me know your thoughts down below. How are you finding this change? Do you think it's going to promote better racing? That's something we will be showing in this video, but this is just my first lap that I did. If you'd like my current setup, make sure you join my YouTube membership by clicking that join button, because I've already put my current setup I'm using for this track, which may or may not change for my league race tomorrow. But yeah, this track has been one of my personal favourites in the past. It's not one where I've had incredible raw pace on, but I think it's a track that definitely does reward consistency, driving, racecraft, and really knowing when to use your ERS, which I think is probably the biggest thing that I've taken away from driving this circuit here today. So coming to here, so far the lap is exactly the same as it was last year, but you will see as we come out this right-hander, this is the point where everything changes. As we get about to here now, normally you'd be turning right, but we are just going to be going straight on, cutting out the very famous corner underneath the bridge, doing this little straight here. I wouldn't say it's a huge straight, no DRS zone on that straight, and that has drastically changed the lap time. And you can see we're doing a 130 here. Ideally want to be going into the 127s, but we played around with the setup just for a little bit and decided to jump online. So again, if you click that join button, you can be part of these lobbies. So we felt like we had a fairly decent one configured at this point. And let's just see how the racing goes. So we've got a full grid here, 20 drivers. So as we've got 5 lights, and as they go out now, trying to get a fairly decent start, but being very mindful of saving this ERS, so we didn't even use any, but going through the middle, and this is always absolute carnage going through into turn 1. You can see people going off left, right, and centre, and people ghosting around, so we're already up into P12, using a bit of ERS here now. Want to get ahead of these two cars as much as we can, and we're up to P10, so making up 4 positions so far, using a bit of battery, but then turning off very quickly because there's no pressure from behind. And now we are already in P10. We can see all the guys up ahead who are spamming their battery. This is where people love to be going side by side and going to here 3 wide. Just not go wide, go through into here. So yeah, a little bit of cars used to get tangled up into the wall, but then we managed to pick that off and go up into P8. And so far so good. Haven't really used that much off the battery so far. So coming through this section, obviously this is exactly the same as it was before. And I noticed going through here, I don't know if there is a change, but the track definitely seems wider going through this section. Definitely was feeling a lot more tight on the previous game, and we can see we're getting 5 cars through this section. But as we come through to here, Alpine, or just typical open lobbies, basically people don't like to be overtaken, and wherever I was going to brake, he was pretty much just going to brake that little bit later, even if he goes into the wall. So we've lost those positions again. And now let's see what the kind of racing is like. Going through to here, it's a very awkward braking zone. Very hard to spot because you're approaching that corner now at so much more speed than you did on the previous layout. But coming off here, coming in P12, so again, we're just going to conserve the battery because you can see how much you've already used. Well, we've barely really been pressing that overtake button. And again, just let me know what you have found with this track so far, with your experience in open lobbies. Do you find this to be a little bit better? Because I think for league racing, for me tomorrow, it's actually going to be a big difference as we do a really nice switchback coming through here. But yeah, now with the track being significantly shorter, the tyre wear, the tyre temperatures, it was probably sector 3 where you'd be getting most of that wear and heat into the tyres. So don't think it requires maybe quite as much as a high downforce setup as it did in the past, as we try and get a good round this corner, go down the inside front. The Red Bull has spun round, and now we're already back into P8. And let's see what we can do here. So I really enjoyed this corner, this right hand. You don't really want to be mounting this curve. You want to be missing this curve, but someone has just completely gone straight across that chicane. But yeah, definitely this corner, these two guys are just buried into the wall there. Don't know what was happening, but yeah, that corner definitely seems, the curving's a little bit different, and just the track width definitely seems to be much wider. Don't know if it was worth maybe putting a DRS zone here. Don't know if the straight is not necessarily long enough, but I felt like the DRS zone into turn 1's a little bit wasted. I think maybe this corner would have been a little bit of a better option, but yeah, maybe you just let me know what you think of that. It's coming through into here now. We're still trying to conserve this battery, so this is where the DRS is activated. Currently in P6 here. You can see these two guys going side by side, but you can already see the guy up ahead has already wasted all of his battery. That just shows how easy it is to burn up all of your ERS here. So I think especially for competitive racing on online lobbies, you really got to decide if you want to go with the downforce, but then you'll be very vulnerable to the ERS, or that straight line speed, as we're being quite a bit squeezed on that straight there. Or you want that straight line speed, but then maybe you are suffering in the raw pace performance, as this guy, not really too sure what he's doing there, but again, pretty standard open lobbies. But we managed to get through up into P4, so now we've got a little bit of clear air, and let's see what we can do here. So you can see, although we haven't really been pushing with the battery, already down to 50% of the ERS. So again, I think it's going to be quite interesting for league racing of what direction you want to go in terms of the downforce. You want to go the high downforce where you go maximise to qualifying, or perhaps the low downforce where you're going to be much harder to pass. But again, like I said, in this game, no matter what your wing level is, if you're using the battery, your straight line speed is pretty much going to be the same. It's quite easy to defend against other people, but you will be running out of battery much quicker with that high downforce. So perhaps for the esport guys, they'll probably all be running very high downforce because mistakes are very rare for them. But maybe people who are not quite on that level, a lower downforce setup might be a good option, because the race is very long in league racing on 50% races around here. So you can see setting the fastest lap of the race, which I wasn't really expecting. So we're just going to let this guy have this corner and get a good exit here. So we're using the ERS and we've got the DRS, but this guy is just spamming the overtake button, which, you know, absolutely can do, but and then he just doesn't even do the overtake. So he's just wasted so much ERS by doing that. He's probably underneath 10% right now. And now we're up into P3. Let's see if we can catch Crocs up ahead, who is one of my members in my YouTube Discord. So let's see what we can do here. And again, the race pace for me always feels pretty good. You can see a snap of the oversteer here, so maybe changing that brake bias to 55% if you tend to lock the rears. But you can see his red light is flashing as well, so I do think the battery deployment is going to be a big issue around here. So no DRS here. I think a DRS zone would have been needed here. I think that would have been quite a good place to have it, rather than going through into the turn 1. But let's see what we can do. So go into this last lap, braking about probably just after the 150 meter ball, so a much faster entry into that chicane here. And let's see what we can do. So getting the DRS for this home straight, and yeah, we could have overtaken him maybe going into here, but we're going to just turn off that DRS and coming to just try and set ourselves up really nicely to go onto the main DRS drone. And yeah, just go play it nice and patient here, let him have this corner. So he makes a little bit of a mistake and goes a little bit of the battery, but he is underneath the 10% of the ERS, and you can see how much faster we are in a straight line. So a pretty comfortable pass in the end, and let's see how much we can actually close in on the leader. So the gap is 7.6 seconds. So I think he actually started in pole, and starting at pole was probably, well, definitely is probably the best place to be around this circuit. It is absolute carnage on lap 1. So you can see already gained about 3/10 just going through this middle sector. So tyres, you can see the tyre temperatures are about 101 degrees with the setup I'm using, which is really kind of the sweet spot of what you want to be. You don't want them to be too hot, where they're going to be understeering, or too cold, and they will also be understeering. So I say about 100 to 103 degrees is really the sweet spot that you want to be doing. You can see doing a purple middle sector, so using the rest of this battery. You can see the steering wheel, the delta is going into the greens. You can see we gained almost about a second of sap on leader so far, trying to get a really good exit coming off this final chicane. You can see doing that really well. He wins the race, come around this last corner. I think we're going to set the fastest lap of the race, it is with a 31.0. That is the new Singapore layout, and you can see that was actually quite fun. I think the racing, in my opinion, should hopefully be a little bit better on this layout. But let me know what you think. Thank you so much, and I'll be catching you very soon. Peace.